Hello, everyone. I am Roswell Royce Laurie. I'm the creator of Cool Folks Who Love the Bachata. Cool Folks Who Love the Bachata is a dance Facebook I created in honor of the pandemic recovery for the dancers from around the world, specifically focused on bachata professionals. I created this platform to give all 2,800 members the chance to actually show to you what they can do, their product, their talent. They have an opportunity to better shine, to better promote themselves. So I created this platform so 2,800 of the world's greatest dancers can give you the opportunity to see what they have. Now, I had the opportunity to actually travel these last couple years during the COVID pandemic, and primarily here on the East Coast. And I had the opportunity to interact with some of the organizers, meet with the greatest like dancers you could ever see perform. And I'm not only talking bachata, I'm talking about salsa, mambo. These guys are great. So I honor each one of them and I respect them because honestly, I don't think I have the courage and the guts to do what they do. They're all dedicated. They're very loyal. They love what they do. Okay, and they're just good people. Okay, and I'm gonna bring on one of them. Okay, her name is Melody McGuire. She's done a fabulous job in Arkansas, and everyone knows that because I've been telling everyone about this, over and over and over. And she's a great person, and her and our partner Michael are going to join us in a couple seconds to tell us a little bit more about them, their event that's coming up, and some topics we're going to talk about. Before I bring them on, I just want to say I am here in Miami. It's great to be back in Miami. Miami was once my home. I lived here a couple years ago, and then I moved back to New York. So I want to apologize to everyone. I normally look every day for my interviews. I always look absolutely amazing. I got the tie, the jacket, the hair. I'm just having a bad hair day today. Okay, because it's so hot in Miami. I love Miami, but see, look, bad hair day. Okay, so before I get arrested, I'm going to keep my hat on. Okay, so please forgive me for not looking pretty. But a couple of quick announcements. I just want to say for the 100th time that Dance Awakening did a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful job, and I'm going to always emphasize this and be grateful for them. They hosted my Cool Folks Who Love to Bachata anniversary event in Hialeah, Miami this past Saturday. They did a wonderful job. So, guys, if you're listening, I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, you guys did a wonderful job. Also, my friend up in Baltimore, Dola had his World Dance Festival event. And even though I wasn't there, Dola, I heard you did a great job. You were able to gather, all the world's greatest dancers under one roof and to unite as one family. So I give you credit for what you did. Okay. So good job, Dance Awakening. Good job, Dola. I also want to say real quickly some announcements coming up for the summer. I am planning to head back to New York, as everyone knows, for the summer. I'll be in Georgia next week for one more week, and then I'm gonna head back up north to take care of some family stuff. I plan to attend most of your events up north. I would like to see how you guys are doing. It's been a year since I've been up north. I plan to come to Boston, come to New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia. I want to just come say hello. So I plan to come give my support to those organizers this summer. Okay. One of the main things I notice in the dance world now that the COVID stuff is kind of like over, I'm afraid to say this, but I've noticed that there's not many support. Okay, guys, that's a big concern here because the primary one of the reasons I created Cool Folks is so you guys can support one another. Yes, so you guys can share and help one another. Okay, not really compete against one another, but unite and share. So I'm not really seeing much of that. So I want to apologize to those that are doing a good job. You guys are doing great, but just in general, it would be cool if there could be more support in general. So that's one of the stuff I want to talk with Melody about. I want to get her 2 cents on this, and see what she comes up with. Okay. Besides that, I'm gonna stop talking. It's Friday. I know Melody has stuff to do, and I gotta comb my afro. I got an event to go to, so no more talking. I promise. Okay, no more talking. But quickly, the interviews that I'm gonna do coming up. I plan to interview all 2,800 of you. So far, I've done like maybe I think like maybe like 15, like 10 to 15 of you since the last couple of weeks. It's 2,800. I'm going to try my best to get to each one of you. My target is to do once per week, if not twice per week, at your convenience, live from your location. Okay, I'm trying to give everyone a chance. So I'm going to go through the phone book and Facebook one by one by one by one, call you guys or text you. So let me know if you want to do it. This is your chance to show everyone, tell everyone about you. So Melody, I'm going to bring you on. Okay. So everyone, this is Melody and her partner Michael.
Hello.
Nice to meet you guys.
Thank you for having us
on. I just want to say, first of all, Melody, I just, I know we talked about this a couple of days ago. I am very shy. Believe me, no one believes me because at the festival, for the Dallas event by George, I did see the back of you, you know, and I wanted to go up and like give you a big hug and say, "Hey, I'm Roswell." But then again, I'm like, what if Michael is there or someone else is there? He's like, "What are you doing with my what, bro? What's up with that?" So I said, "Let me keep my distance. I don't want problem. Texas got guns, and I don't want to get shot." So I said, one day I'll get to know you more, and I did. I invited you to join my group. You've been posting your stuff, and I just want everyone to know, even though I have not met you directly yet, I feel as if I've known you for a while because you did something that I didn't think many people would have done in Arkansas. Okay, you had the Raza event.
on.
Okay, and for me, that's a big accomplishment because, as everyone knows, I'm all about diversity. I'm about unity. Learning, educating the world about different cultures and stuff. So what you did, and I know I keep saying this over and over, and you're like, Roswell, stop it. But it's true. It's true. What you did, I don't think most people would do. So, and it was a great accomplishment, and it took a lot of courage. Okay. So I just want everyone to know what you did was fabulous, and you're going to do it again in a couple of months in August. You're doing part two, and this is going to be very big. Even bigger than the last one. And most of my friends are part of that event as well. So I haven't been to Arkansas yet but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try my best. Like I take care of my mom. She's not well, so I'm gonna try my best to hop on a plane and come and give my support. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Melody, if you could please tell people a little bit about you.
Sure. So I'm born and raised in Arkansas. I've been here my entire life. Most people don't care anything about Arkansas. We're kind of a flyover state. It has become a lot more diverse, especially in the area that I live in. We have the Walmart World headquarters. They're building a brand new home office here. Peloton headquarters is moving here. The United States mountain biking team is moving their training here. So we have an influx of a lot of beautiful cultures and peoples that have come here from all over the world. So it really allows us to expand our borders and our tastes in music and dance and food just beyond what I grew up with. It's really been fascinating to be a part of. So the Raza Festival is actually put on by my friends Carlos and Susan. They came here from the Dominican Republic, so they are as authentic as you can get as far as bachata goes. They are very traditional, but then at their studio, they also teach other dances, salsa on one, salsa on two, merengue, that kind of thing. So we're very fortunate in this community to be able to have an event like that. They're bringing in greatest instructors from all over the place. We've got the Kingsmen coming, Patrick and JoJo, a lot of big names that are coming all the way to Little Podunk, Arkansas to dance with us. So I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, I know one of my friends, Patrick and Johanna, are going to be there. I mean, as we were talking before, I met Patrick and Johanna before I came to New York. I met them by chance in Orlando. I didn't even know what Central Movement was. Okay, So now I know because so but I didn't know who they were. I just, as everyone knows, I'm kind of like the newbie. I started this bachata dance stuff during the COVID, and I started to do bachata a couple years before this. I really didn't know who's who. So I came to Miami and went to Orlando. I heard about a big event and heard somebody named Patrick Musu or Moso, or then Joanna, whatever. I'm like, okay, whatever. Everyone said just go to the event. It's big. I'm like, okay, whatever. So I met them. I said hello to them, and I'm like, I just thought they were typical people. I didn't know who they were. Then, I saw a lot of these Central Movement people, these big shot people from New York. I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here? You guys are dressed so beautiful. And, what's going on? You guys are from New York, right? So I got the opportunity to meet, Central Movement and Patrick. Mainly Patrick is the one that introduced me to them because he actually called me and he invited me. He's like, Roswell, come, just come, be yourself, just have fun, So because of him, I was able to make that communication and that contact with SM when I went back to New York,
Nice.
So I want to say a big thank you to them. And the rest of the people that are going to be there, I give my support to them as well. Um, but I wanted to ask you, Arkansas. Okay, I had never been there, but soon I will be. You know what? When I grew up in the and I had the same talk with Cassandra a couple of days ago. When I grew up in the '80s, in the '70s and the '80s, I kind of heard about like different Latin people, like Puerto Ricans, Colombians, Dominicans, but I there wasn't really much support for like Dominicans
Mhm.
back in those days. I mean, the stuff that I heard, not from my family, but like from the community and peers, is like, oh, Dominicans are, bad, they're macho, keep away from the guys, just blah blah. It's a language barrier, blah. And I said, okay. And then before you know it, I just drifted this way, and I didn't really interact with, Dominicans and whatever. And then I said to myself, a few years ago that, you know, I want to take the opportunity to learn about the culture and to appreciate it. I'm just tired of listening to American music, the same thing over and over. I want to try something different, man. I want to try something different. So by chance, I was playing around with the radio station, okay, and by chance, okay, and I heard someone singing. I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was Romero or whatever. But I just said to myself, I don't understand the thing this guy is saying, but I like it. It just feels good. Okay. It just
Sure.
that's what I said. And then before you know it, I'm going back to, playing like my oldies like Madonna and Prince and Cindy Lauper, all the stuff that old people listen to, right?
The good
And
stuff.
then I said, okay, let me try, let's play around with the station again. And then I went back, and before you know it, more Dominican music, her Aventura, this guy named Prince Royce, et cetera, et cetera. And I said, this is cool. This is cool. This is cool. This is cool. Right. So I said, let me go to my first bachata event. Okay. My first bachata event was in Washington, D.C. I lived in Washington, D.C. And I attended my first bachata event, and I was nervous as heck because I was like, I was like, I don't know what to do, what to say. All I know is hola and adios. I don't know anything else. And what if I say the wrong thing? What if I dance with a man's girl and then, he beats the, crap out of me? I heard some stuff. And I said, whatever, And before you know it, I walked in and people hugged me and people like, hey, how you doing? And what join us? And this is how you dance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Before you know it, I stopped going to the American clubs. I stopped listening to American music and I became a little addicted to the Dominican culture. And I began listening to more and more music. I began traveling the world. I decided to go to Austin, Texas for a year to so they can teach me, more stuff to do. Then I decided to come to Georgia, and I wanted to learn different ways of doing bachata, not just one way. Okay, so I guess what I'm trying to say, to make a long story short, I learned to appreciate the culture. Okay, not like, but appreciate. Like is something like, okay, oh, this music is okay for 2 minutes. I'm tired of it. I'll listen to it next week. Appreciate is like, this music is great and I can learn from it. And wow, I think I love it. Okay. So I just wanted to ask you this question. Arkansas. Okay. I don't know much about the diversity, the culture. I don't know how many Dominicans or whatever, but a diversity, come together. So when you did the diversity event, I keep saying diversity event, forgive me, Rasa, when you did that, how did you feel, man? Like, how did you feel? You know, I mean, like, I mean, how did you feel just like connecting the world? Is that fair for me to ask you? Like,
Oh,
you brought
absolutely.
people together. Like, how did you do it? How did you? I mean,
Well, and it's kind of an interesting story. I actually traveled to the Dominican Republic with a company called Meta Movements in 2019, the year before the pandemic hit. And they do full immersion dance trips. So you go to where these dances originated. They do Dominican Republic, and I believe they do Cuba as well. And you just go, you interact with the people, you eat the foods that they eat, you listen to the music that they listen to, and then you get dance lessons with the instructors that live there. And that's how I met Carlos and Susan. And just being completely immersed in that culture really gave me an appreciation for those people, and just the beauty of their art and their music and their dance and everything. Growing up in the Eureka Springs, Arkansas area, everybody looked exactly like me, right? We all had the same skin color, pretty much the same hair texture and everything. And as more diverse cultures started coming to this area because of the industry and the businesses that we have here, it's just been such a beautiful thing to experience all these different things. And the fact that so many people from different backgrounds, different economic status, different everything can all come into one room. And just because we love this particular style of dance so much, you get to meet fascinating people, interact with each other, really get to appreciate the beauty of other cultures. So it's been a really great experience for me.
yeah, I'm happy you said that because I used to live in Delaware. I'm sorry, guys. I know I'm all over the place. I lived Texas, Delaware, but I lived in Delaware, and I loved it there. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, one of the reasons I decided to kind of like drift away because I'm like I can't imagine myself living there for the rest of my life. Because I don't think they're the area is kind of ready for change and whatever. So, but what you did for the 400th time, I'm going to tell you this, Melody. I respect what you did, and I just want everyone to know to listen to this carefully. I would like everyone to be a role model or to follow your footpath. Okay, the 2,800 people that are listening and whatever. I would like everyone to follow what Melody did. It doesn't have to be Rasa 2 or whatever. It could develop your own name. Okay, but what I'm saying is learn. Reason I do these interviews so we can learn from one another. People can learn from the guests that I interviewed and stuff. It's not only about you guys coming on video and be like, oh wow, I made tons of money and I'm blah 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 and I dance with this guy. No, it's about learning and being respectful. So what you did again, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay,
Thank you.
now moving on to part two. Okay, this summer in August. Okay, how much time? And I had this talk with Dola, my friend Dola, a couple of weeks ago because I'm not an organizer, and I don't think I have what it takes to be an organizer. I'm not even organized, so how can I be an organizer, right? So, Dola was kind of telling me that Roswell, it's not just calling people up and organizing stuff. Then the next day when it's over, go back on the dance floor. You have to begin preparing for the next year, and I'm still trying to get that. So, how much time and energy do you think for this one compared to the first one? I mean, do you think it might be a little bit more time consuming? Maybe because you have, I don't know, do you have more people coming in from overseas now that the COVID stuff restriction is kind of over? Like, how much time do you need to actually, you know, get things
Sure.
going? I'm just curious. I'm just curious.
Well, and we don't organize events currently ourselves. We just work with the other organizers in our area. But
Okay.
I did help bring Carlos here the very first time he came to Arkansas. And
Okay.
just being involved in putting together small events in the past, a
Okay.
lot of dancers have no idea how much work has to go into every single event that is put on. You
Okay.
have to find a venue that's big enough to host it, that has decent floors. If people want to drink, you got to get that figured out. You have to work
Mhm.
with the artists as far as transportation, what they're going to be teaching. Is it appropriate for the skill level of your community? So much behind the scenes work has to go into this. And a lot of dancers kind of take it for granted. They just want to pay their cover and show up and dance, and that's it. And that's great. But I think it's very important to respect not only the people who put so much time and effort and work into organizing these events behind the scenes, but also respecting the venues that these events are hosted at. If we go into a restaurant for a social and we completely trash the restaurant, they're not going to have us back, and then we don't have a place to dance. So if you're going to a festival and you're going to a hotel, anything like that, it's important to be respectful of the people who are giving us these kinds of opportunities. And also just working with different organizers and promoters. It's interesting seeing how different people organize different things. So As far as the Raza Festival, it was so much better than I even hoped it would be last year. And the lineup this year is even better. It's at an even bigger venue. We have 2 performance teams that are getting ready to perform. And then we have another performance ourselves as well as teaching. So it's going to be a really, really nice event.
Okay, that's wonderful. I mean, just the expression on your face, I'm like, I gotta leave my mom with the neighbor so I can just come to that event. Okay, I'm trying. Oh no, Michael, what you don't know is that last year, I really wanted to come give you guys a surprise. Okay, this is what happened. Hear me out first. Hear me out first, bro. I looked up JetBlue, okay, and I was about to get a ticket and just like come to Arkansas, but then again, there's no like because of the COVID restriction, there wasn't like any direct flights and it was limited and blah blah. So I said, it didn't work out. So I just, so I wanted to apologize for not being able to, show up, but I'll try my best this August. I'll try my best. You see what I'm the care, I gotta, I take care of my 80-year-old mom, so I gotta. Or maybe I bring her with me. I don't know. She complains a lot. She complains a lot. Okay. You guys were in television to tell the world about the success and stuff. I did see it, and it was wonderful, and but how did it feel, guys? I mean, how did it feel to actually be, like on in front of the big screen and just to, I mean, did you feel like any like I don't know, nervous, or did you feel like you said what you had to say? Like, would you do it again if you had to? Would you make it an everyday thing? I mean, I grew up in television. That's what I grew up in. I was a television producer back in a long time ago, but behind the screen, then I went into psychology, law, and now cool folks. So, how do you? Are you guys gonna be in TV again or something? So I can put an announcement.
um, Being on TV, I guess there's always a nervousness there, because
Okay.
it's live. You never know what's going to happen. It's kind of fun, though,
Okay.
to know what's going to happen.
Okay.
I will say she's done it before, so she kind of gets it. I did it before, so we kind of had experience with it. But I think
Mhm.
what I loved about it most, or I think she does too, but what I love about it most is that, when I started dancing, it did save me in a way. So being able to spread that kind of love and the expression, and I'm Lakota Sioux. I'm Native American, tribal American. So dance is always more to me than just a dance. So just being able to have the opportunity to show people what it can be, how much it can help you, um, it's a blessing for sure, and it's an amazing experience just to be able to share what you love with so many people.
You said save, right? And I mean,
Yeah.
I just want to say, those of you that don't know me, I lost, I'm deaf, I lost my hearing a couple of years ago because of COVID. So sometimes when people talk to me, I had to be like, what? So, because some people lose their smell. They say that just messed up my ear. So that's when people talk. I'm like, what? So, but I'm sorry, Mike. You said it saved you, right?
Yeah, dance
Okay.
literally saved me.
Okay. I'm happy you said that because someone told me that, and I forgot which. Someone said that in an interview few weeks ago. But this word "save," I think it was Eric that said that. I could kind of relate to that because Michael, there's different ways that people interpret "save" and how it helped them. Um, what I didn't tell you guys a couple minutes ago, also another reason I decided to get into the Dominican stuff is only because I got tired of American music. It really helped me to get over a personal relationship. I dated a Dominican, and it was really bad. After 8 years, let's just say after 8 years, I was about to be like, "There's a bridge. I'm going down under." And what stopped me, because I was getting old. I mean, as everyone knows, I'm almost 50, and this happened like, a few years ago. So I said, "Yeah, I'm getting old. What's up?" And I got to make this relationship work. There's no buts about it. I'm not 20, 30. I come from a strong West Indies culture. You have to get married at a certain age and blah, blah. And I broke all those rules. I said, this got to work, and it was a very bad relationship, very bad. And I said to myself, okay, there's no point of living. So literally I was about to, what stopped me? I was thinking about my mom, what she would say, my nephews, my nieces, all of this stuff. And then I said to myself, no, the reason I would do that is because of a broken heart from a Dominican. Okay. So I said to myself, wait a minute, not all Dominicans are bad. You know, just because this one Dominican screwed me up, I'm going to prove to myself that there are good Dominicans. So I just want everyone to know that that's my definition of safe. And I know it's kind of corny. In
Mhm.
the 80s, we say corny, but that's my version of safe. So Melody, another reason I decided to open up Cool Folks Love the Bachata, there's a reason it's Cool Folks Love the Bachata and not like the hustle and disco, because I learned, again, I want everyone to listen to what I say carefully. I learned from a personable level to appreciate Dominicans, all Dominicans. Okay. Okay. Because I grew up a stereotype that, the women are, they sleep around, the men are macho, blah, but, I just want everyone to know there's a reason there's cool folks who love the bachata and not cool folks who love to salsa or hustle or disco. And so I decided to turn it around and make the Dominican thing a positive stuff for me. And it has, and it is, and it will. So I just wanted just to squeeze that in real quickly. But Michael, I mean, if you wanted to add something else to that, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted
No,
to
dude. Hey, this is
conclude.
yours. I'm happy to be here. I appreciate the opportunity she asked me, so it's a blessing to be here. Thank you. No, saving for me was the exact same thing. I'm prior military. I was stationed in Anchorage, Alaska. That's where I learned bachata.
Okay.
There's not a lot to do outside, so we stay inside because it's cold and dark. But the military is not the easiest life, as most people can probably imagine. Sometimes you just feel a little isolated, and I was in a really dark time in my life. And one of my buddies, he had asked me to go dancing for the past like month. And, I was at that verge where I was like, I'm an open book, so I'm not like nervous or embarrassed to say it. But I had to go to a therapist because it was hard. I needed to go talk to somebody, and I didn't want to go out. I wasn't doing anything. And my buddy kept asking me to go out. It was about a week before I had planned to do something that wasn't going to be good for my life. And I went out with him on that Thursday evening to a dance event because he kept asking. But if I hadn't have gone to that bachata event, I don't know where my life would be right now because I fell in love. It gave me an outlet, and it gave me a way to express myself as well as. And the reason I teach today is because it gave me a way to find who I was in another way. Like I really did grow in myself while I was learning bachata. So it's life saving for real.
Yeah, I mean, when someone was telling me that in an interview, like I was like, oh, maybe I don't know what they mean by save. Maybe it's helped them, like, accumulate more income or more, I don't know. So people have different versions, but
Mhm.
after what you said and I said, this word save, it's becoming real.
Yeah.
Okay, it's becoming real. It's not just, it's not just, people just say it saved me, it helped me find a hot chick or a hot guy or help me become famous. It saved the soul. This is better than psychology, man. This is better. I majored, as most of you know, I majored in psychology and, so my math, and, half of the stuff that I learned in psychology school, nah, it doesn't work for me. What works for me is going to a social, okay, hanging out with people who understands how you felt or feel. Okay, that's remedy. That's therapy. Okay, therapy is not, sitting on a couch and telling people this. But therapy is like going out there, finding it in you, and bringing that out and sharing that with someone else. Okay, for you to save yourself, you know, you deserve 101 Oscar awards. Okay, not many people can do that. Trust me, not many people are. But you did, I did, and most of you that are listening, please, take some advice. If you guys ever, feel that way, there's people to talk to. There's but go to those events, because you're not alone, guys. Trust me, you're not alone. Trust me. Just I just want everyone to understand that you're not alone. Okay. So anyway, okay. So I know I'm a little off the topic here with the interview. So forgive me, Melody. Let me just
You're
get back
fine.
here. I'm so sorry. Um, okay. Actually, I wanted to bring something up about support. Okay, if it's okay with everyone, and I don't want to mention names because you know I don't want people to like put stuff about me in social media. Then I'm mentioning names, but just in general, I just want everyone to know um, I'm not very cool with all this the support stuff that's not happening. And who am I to say anything? Because number one, I'm not a professional dancer. I'm not an organizer. I just go to events, but I do see stuff, right? I don't talk, but I see stuff. So I think now that the COVID stuff is kind of like going away, it is kind of over, and everyone is like competing again. And you know, and I brought this question up to Cassandra and a couple other people last week and stuff. And my philosophy is okay, one, two, three, four. Okay, there's five people. Okay, within a 5 mile radius. All right, guys. John, Peter, I don't know, Amy, Sue, Eduardo, whatever. Five people. Okay, Saturday night. Okay, they're all gonna have an event within 5 miles radius. Okay, wouldn't it make sense? I don't know. Wouldn't it make sense, John, Miguel, they unite for that one night. For that one night, come together and organize it, rather than having this person like decide, should I go here? What if I don't go there? He's gonna get mad at me. Blah 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 blah. I mean, again, I know I'm gonna hear criticism about this because I'm social media, but I don't care. I'm cool. I'm cool man who loves the bachata. But all I'm saying is that it would be cool. It would be cool. It would be cool if maybe that might work. I don't know. Melody and Michael, you guys have been in this business more than I have. You guys seen stuff and blah blah blah. So I just wanted your opinion. I know there's no answer to this, right or wrong, but your opinion now that summer is here and your friends are going to compete against friends. How is it possible? Do you think that might work or no? Or am I just being stupid? Do you think that might work or no?
No, you. I mean, you want me to go first?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I think it's definitely possible. For me, I've been a part of a few different dance communities, and I helped build the one down in Little Rock, which is a central part of Arkansas. And I think it's a beautiful idea because I'm with you. We have the same problem here in Arkansas sometimes where we got like 3-4 different events going on in a weekend, and we're like, a lot of people too are like, do I want to go to that one? Do I want to go to that one? And it's not a bad idea. It's not a bad thing to have options, but I do like the bringing together of a community, and kind of making that family. You know what I mean? That's kind of another reason I fell in love with the Latin dance is because they make it a community/family.
Well, and one of the things that the community leaders have done here recently, in the past, we had one instructor who, anytime anybody else would schedule an event, he would purposefully schedule another event at that exact same time to try and take students. And when that person left our community, the rest of the people in the dance community, the leadership especially, decided to get together. And they actually meet and have a group chat every so often. And they're like, okay, we're going to have this event on this Friday night, and then somebody else can have this Saturday night. So as a community, we purposefully try not to schedule too many events, especially on the same evening. We're a fairly small community. I mean, it's a small area in Arkansas as far as such things go, especially compared to the bigger scenes like Dallas, New York, Miami. We're teeny tiny. But we do have a lot of different styles, different instructors, different styles of music. So when everybody sets up their event, they also say, hey, this event is going to be mainly based on cha-cha tonight. So we know we're going to play a lot of cha-cha music, a little bit of salsa, a little bit of bachata, whatever. This night is a sensual bachata night. This night is a traditional bachata night. So that way you kind of know what you're getting into, and that helps you decide a little bit more whether or not that's a style that you want to go to for the evening.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I don't know what to say, what not to say. I'm just listening to everyone's perspective, and one of the reasons for this interview is that everyone that's listening to this, that's planning to do interviews with me, I'm gonna try to ask everyone their perspective. So I appreciate both of you, your opinions and stuff, and yeah, because I think what bugs me, and it's just that I just hate to. I mean, we're all friends, right? I mean, when I mean we're all friends, I mean, cool folks love the bachata. That's another one of the 500 reasons I created Cool Folks Love the Bachata, because I want to stop with that. I want to cut down on that friends competing against friends competition stuff. So I figured if I go and I try to help and whatever, I'm it. But thank you for your opinion, okay? Thank you. When I was a child, Michael, right? Which was like a couple days ago. No, I'm just kidding. I got to grow up. Okay. I come from the old school family. My family, his first immigration. My family's from the West Indies, as everyone knows. They migrated here. Typical immigration story. They come to America, trying to make it big in New York. They lived in a little apartment. Me, the brothers and sisters shared one bed, one toilet. So growing up like that, in my head, I always said, I want to be successful. I don't know, I don't know what successful is, but to be big. I don't want to live in a basement anymore. So my dad always emphasized, go to college, go to school, because no one in my family ever went to school. My brother or sister, get married, have 500 kids. I decided to do the bachelor's, master's, doctoral, all of that stuff. And now cool folks love the bachata. So when I was young, my dad always say, "There's only two choices you have." Right, Michael? He told me, doctor, lawyer. I could not even mention the word dancer or TV model to my dad. My dad would, what? What? Oh, not a good thing. Not so. But internally, I always knew that, I wanted to be part of the arts, whatever, blah blah blah. But I just, but I could see where he's coming from. It makes sense, He didn't want his kids to struggle. So I guess with me, I didn't really have the passion. I mean, I didn't. My primary focus wasn't to become the world's greatest dancer or whatever. But I learned I wanted to appreciate it. So I guess Michael, I can ask you this: like, did you was this a path you chose for yourself when you were young? Is this something that just happened, or did your parents? I mean, did your parents like give you the support? Did they say, "Son, that's what you want to do," or were your parents like my dad? You what?
Yeah, so
What? Dancer? What?
listen, my
I
dad,
mean,
my
so
dad's an immigrant too. My father came from El Salvador, so my dad's from El Salvador, and my mother, we're like I said, tribal Americans. So
okay.
my dad moved over here, and he instilled that in me when I was part of him too. He's like, Michael, go to college, get a good job. So me trying to say going to college for baseball or wanting to go to the military really wasn't on his agenda per se, right?
Okay.
I definitely had no plans on joining even anything artistic. I grew up in a very what's the word? I guess strong-headed household. So like I was always taught to do the manly thing, I don't know, construction and the military and stuff like that. So I never even honestly gave a thought to it. So I didn't choose that lifestyle. Once I found it through the military and stuff, it chose me, you know?
Mhm.
And now that I've found the art, I think art's the most beautiful thing in the world. So
Okay, great. No, that's great. I should have lived with you when I was young. You should have had my number back in the '80s or something.
man, you should have
Mhm.
done it.
So when my dad said out the house, I could hang out with your dad. No, no, but seriously,
Yeah.
no, but hey, look, I'm still somehow connected to the dance world. Well,
Right.
that's
Hey,
just
we
about the
came out of
platform. So, but that's great, bro. Melody, I'm not going to leave you out here.
Oh
So,
wow, goodness.
so was this something that you always, if you don't mind me asking, is this something that, you always, you had a plan or a dream or something that was in a work, like, or it just happened, or you know what I'm saying? Like, is this
Yeah.
something, or I don't know. I mean, it's
So
just
my family has always been very musical. My grandfather was a big band trumpet player back in the 40s. He played with the Rat Pack, so Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr. and all the good stuff back then. My mother was a champion, or not my mother, my grandmother, pardon me, was a champion jitterbug dancer back in the
okay.
day. She was the best jitterbugger in Chicago. So I kind of have that background with music and dance. When I was a child, my family actually had a dinner show we performed at. So I've been performing and dancing my entire life, but different ways, certainly not Latin dancing. I always wanted to get into partner dancing. When I was a child, I used to watch the ballroom competitions on PBS before Dancing with the Stars was a thing. So that tells you how old I am. But
It's okay.
I always used to love just how these people were able to get in frame and wear those beautiful costumes and move together and create art and interpret music. But I grew up way out in the middle of the country on a dirt road. We grew up poor. My family just could not afford dance lessons at all. So I just put it on the back burner, didn't give it a second thought. And then fast forward to me being a grown up, and I walk into a local brewery here one night, and there was a gentleman teaching a beginner bachata lesson. And I fell in love with the dance and just kind of took off from there. So it's always been something I've been interested in doing. I just never really had the opportunity. And then once I discovered bachata specifically and found places that I could learn and started to meet the people in the community, you know, when you're a grown up, it's really, really hard to make new friends, right? Your options are work or, you know, if you go to religious services, but other than that, how are you going to meet people? So I find that with dance, I can go to any major city in the world anymore and be able to find a community of like-minded people who just want to dance and just want to have fun that I can connect with and that I automatically have something in common with. So that part of it has just been so refreshing for me. So I didn't know that I would be able to get back into dancing in such a big way, but I'm very, very grateful that my path has led me here.
That's great. That's great. I'm happy for you, and I can see where you have all these people that are coming to the event in August and stuff. I mean, you seem like a very I used to be a recruiter, Melody, and I mean and I always tell people how you're going to get a job in this world or whatever is that people's going to come to you instead of you going to them. If you just be yourself, people just I told a lot of young people that were entry-level college students that are trying to get a job. They're like, "Oh, I don't have the skill, Mr. Laurie." And what I said, just be you. When you're you, you got the job or whatever. So I guess what I'm trying to say to you, Melody, I think I haven't met you yet, but I just talking to you, and you have a how can I say a high energy, like a good, in a nice way. I mean it in a good way, not a bad way. So it's like when people complain that you have a, you have like a cool, like a approachable energy.
Thank you.
For a woman, not many. I know it's like I'm afraid they're gonna hurt me if I say hello to them. You're the type that I should have came up to you when I saw you at the, at the Dallas stuff. I should have.
Next
Now
time.
I feel comfortable hugging you because now I'm getting to know you. But I guess what I'm trying to say, it's good what you are you, and I think that helped in the dance world when you are you, and that helped with the competition because my mom always tells me if I'm going to pursue the television business, and I have to compete with XYZ, that's cool. Just be me. And people's going to come to me. And that kind of helps the competition a little bit. So you keep being you. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay.
Thank you.
The reason I asked you guys about how you guys became to be is because I would like to know the children that are listening to this, okay, the youngsters who may want to, become the dancers or people entertainment and stuff. What advice can the two of you give to them?
You start.
Oh gosh. The biggest things that I would say would be number one, don't be too hard on yourself because absolutely everybody has to start somewhere. So I've been dancing for about 5-ish years now. My style has developed over a number of years, not just from the instructors that I've been able to have the blessing to be taught by, but also I like to study all kinds of different types of dance. I don't want to put myself in one box. So I'll watch the old school Fred Astaire musicals, Gene Kelly, that kind of thing. I'll go online and watch people like the Kinjas. Just every different type of movement I like to study. And then sometimes you can incorporate that type of thing into your dance. Also, don't ever think that you know everything because there's so much out there. There's so many different styles, so many different instructors. Everybody has a slightly different approach for how they teach things, but everybody has a slightly different approach for how they move. I always tell my students that, even if you're taking lessons from me and you like how I dance, my purpose is not to teach you how to dance like me, right? I dance like me because I'm expressing what's in my soul that matches this music that I want to get out there, right? You have to find whatever your individual style is, and lessons will give you the techniques and the movements to be able to express yourself. But really what it comes down to is in that moment, when you hear that music, when you make that movement, what are you trying to say? What are you expressing to the world? So learning from as many different areas as you can, and then just incorporating that into your own personal style and your own personal dance, I think just makes it so much more therapeutic, really, and more beautiful. Because if we're all dancing exactly the same, it gets really boring, right?
It's a great opportunity. So I started a dance company a few years ago, Elevated Dance. And she came along. That's what we are now, is Elevated Dance. It's spelled with a 3 at the beginning. Okay, and this is my message to the kids. The 3 at the beginning is an E, stands for elevate, meditate, and cooperate. So my advice is to meditate, and when I say meditate, you can go sit down if you want to and actually meditate, but it's a general expression to whatever you learn, whatever you've experienced. Go and sit with it for a while. experience it, learn it. Elevate, always elevate your dance. Like she's saying, there's always more to learn. Always try to find that something else that we can go to. And the last one being cooperate, because as much as I myself, I'm always like, I love being by myself and stuff, you know, but with her as a partner, like cooperating with everybody, your friends and your family, your dancers is one of the best ways that you're going to do anything in life, especially with dance. So meditate on what you do, elevate yourself in your dance, always yourself, always trying to be better, and then cooperate with everybody you can. Like we're talking about now, you know, you're just cooperating.
Okay, maybe that's what I need to do. Cooperate. Maybe if I cooperate, life would be better for me. Anyway, we'll talk about my problems later. But anyway, that's a good advice. No, I like it, and the reason I decided to ask everyone that question is because I believe, you know, I don't want to sound like old school, but you know, kids are the future.
Mhm.
You know, so sometimes when you tell people that, they're like, "Oh God, Roswell," but they are,
But it's a
right?
fact.
Mhm.
They are. Look at you guys. Look who you. I mean, you guys were kids
Mhm.
one day, and look
Still
who you
am.
guys are now. So there's a good role, you know, role example. So you know, that is something that that is something I believe in because I say this real quickly, and how a child develops, right, has a lot to do with influence, right? I always say this, and I always say like a black guy, right? He could end up, you know, being the president or hanging out in jail till he dies. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
it's not because he's black. It's just because you made the upbringing, the support. Okay, the support with any culture, Chinese, black, Indian, whatever. Guyanese, West Indian. And I believe nature versus nurture. I guess when I'm, I believe like how the stuff a child learns at a certain age. What you heard that stuff. What is it? PICA? Like when you're like age 3, age 4, the child learns a certain stuff at a certain age, and
Yeah.
it's in their head until
Yeah.
it is true. It is
Mhm.
true. So that's the reason I always ask everyone that I interview, give their advice because believe it or not, kids are listening to what you guys are saying, and they're going to do what you guys are telling them, and that's going to help them become successful, going this way and not this way, right? So I just want to tell you guys, thank you for that response. Okay. I know you guys have to go pretty soon, but I wanted to ask, what are some plans? Well, I know what's going on in summer or whatever, but what are some big plans? I don't know. What are some plans you guys have for like before the year is up? Is there like any like stuff? And it doesn't have to be dance stuff. You guys don't have to tell secrets and reveal stuff, and but it could be outside of dancing. I mean, are you guys planning to do something to help the community more in Arkansas? Are you guys planning to, help any organizations, be supportive, get the people more involved? I mean, I don't know. I mean, when you guys are not dancing or whatever, I mean, is there something in the works that could help the world or help people? I don't know. Is there, you guys
Yeah.
can help me with my homework.
Absolutely. With elevated dance, we're starting to hear our students. I'm not gonna get emotional when I say this, but elevated dance was my dream when I found it. And I didn't want to start a company and be like every other company. I knew I wanted to change the world. I
Okay.
met Melody, and we just have the same views. We didn't want to be the same as everybody else, and that's not bad. I'm not saying anything about the other instructors. We just really wanted to find a different angle to come at it. And now all of our students and people are really starting to say this. It's like I finally manifested and we finally got to where what we wanted to be with ours, which was everyone's like, you guys are just amazing. You're deeper. You really connect. You make me feel. And now they're like, I feel elevated. I'm like, good. That's what we want. Elevated dance. And we don't just try to make you, especially when I'm talking, like when I was teaching, we're not just trying to make you a better dancer. We hope that you also find the path to yourself more too, and look inside, because in reality, that's what I did when it saved me, was I looked inside and it helped me grow into the person. So she's always supportive. She's always sharing. We're always supportive. We're always sharing. And I said I got teams. We're performing at the Raza. Me and her have performances coming up. So we're really always just supporting everybody else. And the way we change the world is by working on ourselves all the time.
Yep.
No, I like that. I like that. I'm sorry. I'm listening to what you said. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I forgot to put the thumbs up because I'm so, when you listen to someone, you get so involved with them.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so there you go, bro. 2 times.
Yeah. We just really want to help the world, and not necessarily change it, because I don't think that it's up to us to change it. It's up to every single individual person to want to do that. And there's that famous quote, I don't know where it's at. It's a general in the military, and he says, if you want to change the world, start by making your bed. And so, like Michael Jackson, looking at the man in the mirror. That's who we're working on.
I was about to say that, but I didn't want to say that because I'm on camera and everyone. I always say that, and people are like, "Stop it! Stop with the Michael Jackson." But hey, you bailed me out on this one. So I wanted you mentally read my mind. I was like, I hope he backs me up. You did, bro. You did. Yeah. Imagine, the song is like, that was like one of my favorite songs. You have to look at yourself first before you change, and it's true.
Yeah,
God knows it's true.
It's always easy to point it, but we gotta look at ourselves and be the difference.
Yeah, it's true. And one of the reasons I decided to I'm doing human services, right? As everyone knows, I'm working on this big grand dissertation, my PhD. I'm finished with the program, but the reason I chose human services is because of that. One of the reasons, Michael, because I believe the study that I'm doing is on job satisfaction, right? What motivates people to do what they do. Well, I'm looking at Alzheimer's in honor of my dad who has Alzheimer's. I'm looking to see why nurses take care of but I always say they have to look within themselves before they look at others, and I really believe in that. I know it's kind of corny to say nowadays, but I really believe that in order to go out there and help the world, try to look internally, look in yourself first, because if you don't fix yourself, then how are you going to fix the world?
Right. If you can't love yourself and love what you see in the mirror, how can you love someone else?
Bro, you guys are so I want to give you a big hug right now. I'm all about hugs, actually. One of these days I'm going to get sued. One of these days I'm going to get sued for just hugging people. Like, I came to Georgia a few months ago, and these people, you have to actually shake their hand before I came up to my friend Mike Arana. Mike Arana is big cheese, and I heard about him. I saw his videos. I said, Mike, bro, I came up to him at his event Thanksgiving Eve. Bro, what's up? What's up? You should have seen that. He's like, Roswell, right? Now, he knows me every time. Every time he sees me, he knows, But I want to hug you guys, okay? And I'm going to try my best to come up this August. Like, again, I got to find someone to take care of my mom and stuff. Yeah. But real quickly, before we go, what are some last minute advice or suggestions you want to give the dance world or your colleagues, your friends that are listening to this? What are some last minute stuff that you can say?
I think it's more important personally to focus on technique rather than combinations. One of the pits that a lot of people get into is these instructors just teach these flashy combinations all the time, which is great and it's fun and everybody likes that, right? But what ends up happening is the students that are only learning this combination but not the techniques for leading and following those movements end up only being able to do those moves with the people who took that class with them. So when you're learning, really, really focus on, okay, how am I signaling this exact move? Or if you're following, how am I feeling this exact move and interpreting that signal and turning that into movement? So just generally speaking, something that can help improve everyone's dance is to focus on the techniques behind it. It's kind of the meat and potatoes of dance. It's the boring stuff that nobody wants to hear about, but practice your basics, practice your body movement. Learn as much as you can. And once you really get these techniques down and it's muscle memory, that's when it gets so fun because you can go out there and literally dance with anybody and have a great time.
Okay. That works for me.
With mine, I mean, it's same thing as hers. And I think that's why we made such a good team when we decided to partner up I've had privates now for a couple of years because they just I really, when I trained to become a dancer, I went through an instructor class and I really, I saw it differently. Like I said, I wanted to make sure that I did it correctly. And then when I started teaching, I met her, she's also very, very about, hey, let's do it the right way first. And that's good. It's hard to find sometimes because I want to do the basics, or I did. We used to want to do the basics so much, and people are like, "But I know the basics." Okay, but we really got to hit those basics because everything is off the basics, right? And people come to me and they're like, in my privates now, like they even understand. I do the cool moves, and she does the cool moves, and but they're like, "Okay, but how do we do it?" And I love the faces when I'm like, "Here's the muscle that works that. Here's the frame that engages that." They're like, "That's so cool," you know. And I've been given the name Mr. Miyagi from the Karate Kid because my teaching style is like I'll show them something that they might not completely understand why we're doing it first, but then like 2 weeks later we do a move and they go, I see it now. You know what I mean? So like she said, I'm with that. The foundations, you know, take your time. I know you want to hurry up and rush to get to the top, but it's gonna be a climb. I'm nowhere near the top. You know, I got thousands of miles to go, but that's exciting, you know, and I love that. So always know that there's never the top. Just keep going and learn. Please learn it. The foundations. We always say that. So have fun.
I love that advice. I mean, I'm just not saying that because we're live, but I like when you, real quick. I mean, I like when you, bro. You and I are connected. I should have just introduced you, Melody. What are you doing here? What are you doing here? I should have been interviewing you. I should have been interviewing your man.
I tried to join your group, I guess, when COVID happened, and she sent it to me, and I went to the group, and I was like, it still said pending. So, like, I'm still pending to join the group for however long.
What?
I swear.
I
swear.
Wait a minute, you're still pending?
Yeah. Like, it's been, whenever COVID started, because when she sent me that, I'd never heard about it. So I went to your page unknowingly, and it said pending. I was like, oh, I guess I tried to join it so long ago.
Oh my God. Is it still pending? I never accepted it? Oh my God, bro, I feel bad. Sure. No. I feel, oh my God, this would have been a long time ago. I don't know.
Okay. Now I'm in. But that just happened like yesterday or today.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't do it intentionally. I think what happened is that and there's some people that are pending. I mean, I think what happened is that normally when I accept people, I accept them friends are friends, but then I don't know what happened because I guess I didn't know Melody at the time. I didn't know. Yeah. I'm so sorry, bro. I'm not like that.
I figured it was just a bunch of people trying to join the group at once. Yeah. That's what I thought it was.
I'm sorry. I have like Matt Terrorist that I had joined the group, and I could have had a nice guy like you joined. I feel so bad. What's my problem? What's my problem? No. Okay, I'm just kidding. Everyone that's listening to me, there are no terrorists. Okay, I'm just kidding, guys. Please, okay. Okay, I'm just kidding. No. Anyway, you guys look good together. Okay, you guys look good on camera too, but the video, the one that I shared yesterday, I mean, you guys just like, someone told me a long time ago, the world knows when two people are meant for one another. You ever heard that? Like, it's like, I think with Days of Our Lives, or one of those, it's like, people just, your soulmate when you just know, and you guys are an epiphany, okay? You guys are an epiphany of that. And I wanted to say that because I love the videos. I love, I shared the video. You guys like, I don't know how to say this. Like, you can read her mind and she can read his. I mean, you guys, even without me interviewing you guys, this is the first time we were actually talking. I see that, and I'm sure everyone else can see that in the videos. And that's what makes a lead and a follower special. That's what makes, if I can see that and people can see that, people's going to come to you guys. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to share that. I'm just not sugarcoating it because, because I'm a nice guy, but you guys do connect. And I'm sure I'm not the first person to say that. You guys connect naturally, okay? So I just want you guys to remember that, naturally. Anyway, it was a pleasure speaking with both of you. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you both. I know it was a last minute thing because Melody, I called you. I'm like, hey, can you do this for me? Like, so you guys are simple. So I like that. Thank you for sharing your event on our Cool Folks Bachata Facebook. You're more than welcome to share whatever that Melody. You're more than welcome to share whatever. And and when do you? Are you guys coming back to? Are you guys coming to New York? That's what I should have asked you. When are you guys coming to New York City for a visit?
It's not on our Congress list or performance list this year, but we've talked about it multiple times. Just
We
because
need to get there.
COVID happened when like we came together about COVID time, and a lot of things got shut down. So then we focused on dance a lot and was really growing and improving. And we've kind of just been like saving money at the same time, but also spending money too. You know what I mean? So it's a But New York, I'd love to hit it this year. It'd probably be, if we do, it'd be like later in the year toward.
Yeah, because I'm asking because I'm going back this summer and stuff, and even if after the summer, I want to introduce you guys to some people that I know. I have personal contacts. Okay,
There you go.
okay. Now I have personal contacts. Okay, thank you to all the dancers that that help me meet the people in New York. But you guys are more than welcome to come up to New York whenever you guys want to. Let me know, and I give you some people who would love to see you. But anyway, it was good meeting you guys. I know you have an event, okay? So let me stop chit chatting, okay? And thank you, and have a good weekend. And thank you for everything, okay?
Thank you as well.
Thank you.